to ever brought. Gives them that aerial presence from the crosses as well, and it allows Virendra Thapa to bring Figo in, the goal scorer against Northeast last time around. So probably the strongest sides for both teams.
And so it begins yet again. A tryst that occurred just a year ago at this very stage, where Northeast United emerged victorious and eventually crowned themselves champions of the Indian Oil Duran Cup. It's one more time, one more chance for Shillong Lajong to make their mark and perhaps bring a surprise. This, of course, is the first semi-final of this year's edition. As things begin in a very fast-paced manner, Jitin, Ashir, and a through ball by Chima Nunez. Wow, that is pacey.
I think this is the kind of pace you want to see, and this is what you do. If you start at this intensity, that's going to get this crowd up. You can hear the crowd in the background already cheering the home side on. And I think that's the main thing the coach would have spoken to them about, that first 5 minutes of getting the crowd on their side and getting that intensity. But at the same time, got to just make sure they look after the ball, because in the last game against Northeast, they conceded early and put themselves on the back foot for the game. I think that's the main thing they have to guard themselves against tonight.
Yes, obviously, the goals that were scored in that match were by a certain Alauddin Ajare, who scored a brace and therefore ensured that the Northeast United would emerge victorious. That one change is Figo on the left wing, who did manage to get himself on the score sheet and go past Gurmeet. Samte, meanwhile, with the ball, gives it to Acharya. In red hot form, he needed two to tackle him. Was asking for a foul. Wasn't so. Muthu Kannan did what Muthu Kannan does. But Acharya will always be a threat.
Yeah, I think the biggest issue that they're going to have to deal with is what positions does Acharya pick up. I mean, obviously, you see him on paper starting off on the left-hand side of that front three. But, you know, although he occupies that space, at times it's the ability to drift into spaces and get on the ball, either run at players or get in behind the last defender, especially in central areas. And that's what makes it difficult for defenders who seem to pick him up. So there's got to be good communication with the likes of Rudra and the captain Kenstar at the back.
And what's fascinating is I think Juan Pedro Benali is now conceded to the fact that he's more comfortable on the left wing as Acharya. During the ISL, he was tried centrally as well at certain points, and he didn't really enjoy that position. So to get a young Rinzwala to lead the line is a fantastic opportunity for him as well.
Yeah, definitely. We've seen Pat occupy that position, but this is where Alauddin Acharya on the ball over likes it against the fullbacks.
Yeah, he almost went in for a shot and then blocked away by Mula. Just cutting in from that left wing, Samte now. Muthu Kannan. Very impressive first season in the ISL last time around. Jitin just overcooked it.
Yeah, I think just getting back to that point about Acharya on the left-hand channel, we see Virendra Thapa just asking his side to calm down. It was 5 minutes into the game the last time they faced each other that Virendra Thapa's side run a goal down to Acharya, where, again, starting off from the left, but he broke through centrally. You know, I think you look at it in the ISL, as you're saying, Atish, it's easier probably for Acharya to get some joy against a young Indian fullback than it is against, you know, probably foreign centre-backs or experienced centre-backs. So he's clever enough to know which areas to attack.
And that's a clever way of you to put in that insight as well. I just thought it was his positional preference. But perhaps Acharya knows what he needs to do. And Shillong Lajong, rightfully so, Virendra Thapa has told them to calm down a wee bit, because as of right now, it just seems like they're all trying to chase the ball.
Yeah, I think that's, you know, going back to the success of players in the ISL. Juan Pedro Benali would have done his homework as well. You look at the past, the likes of Mendoza or Marcelino, all of them coming in from the wide areas have had a lot of success in Indian Super League and in Indian football, and even the likes of Tony Nordi for the likes of Mohan Bagan. So it is an area where when you get your recruitment right, if you get players who can come in from that sort of 7 or number 11 position, but also possess the goal threat that Acharya has, you're in with a winning combination.
It's Acharya on the left, trying to out-muscle Hiram. puts in the cross. It's into the hands of Sewell.
Yeah, we're just talking about his goal-scoring ability, but he can also be a provider. And we saw that last season with the assists he can provide. So taking on his fullback, and this is just that experience, just put it into a dangerous area. And I look like it was Chima getting on the end of it, just couldn't get enough power on his header. Get straight into the hands of Sewell, who was probably glad that that was directly into his basket.
A certain clash between Rinzwala and Mula, and both of them in a world of trouble. Yellow card shown to the centre back. And that's a bigger threat now, isn't it? And that's a worry, because your centre back up against an Aladin Ajare who'd be charging through. He'd be licking his lips at this point.
Yeah, sometimes as a centre back, you probably want to get one of those challenges in early against the opposition centre forward. You think in the old days, you'd always say you can get away with the first one. But when you go in recklessly, sliding in with your studs showing, I think it's an easy decision for Senthil Nathan. It's an obvious yellow card.
He's a lucky boy. He's a lucky boy there, Brad, because if you saw the replay, he's charging in with both legs, studs up.
I mean, he sort of recognized, I think, his one leg, he sort of started to pull it back, but yeah, absolutely reckless challenge, and no need for that this early on in the game. Just puts his side under unnecessary pressure.
Ajare is taking the free kick. He wanted to tonk it into goal, crashes into the wall. And on the counter, this is where the pace of Shillong Lajong could pose a threat. It's Frangi Buam trying to slip it through to Ever Brightson. He's offside.
That's a shame for Shillong Lajong. That was a really promising counter-attack. And that's what they're going to look to do, especially off the set piece with the pace of Ever Brightson and Frankie Boam. Just a little bit sloppy with the pass from Frankie. Should have been in front of Ever Brightson. Ever Brightson also should have just held his run. It's a wonderful opportunity. They're not going to get too many of those opportunities, and they've got to make sure they capitalize on the transitions.
Sabako being put under pressure, and the pressure told. High press by Shillong Lajong.
Yeah, I think you see the way Birendra Thapa's got them almost in a 4-1 defensively when they're out of possession. You've got good shape from which to press.
False Gamite and Frangi Buam. Figo. It's a shot from distance. This is impressive by Shillong Lajong. They're settling into the game.
Yeah, this is what we needed. You can hear the crowd really lifted. They're not just here to make up the number. Shillong Lajong, the only side now with an all-Indian outfit in the tournament. But they fancy their chances at home, and they certainly will get numbers forward and look to attack. I mean, that's the way Lajong play. They always have. That's the Lajong brand of playing. They are going to be an attacking side. They'll go down fighting.
It's Gladdy who's going to take the corner. Didn't really get the elevation he desired and just ran into traffic. This long ball plays through. To nobody in particular. Almost 10 minutes in, Shillong Lajong have proven that they are ready for this fight. And the crowd too is expectant. Of course, the other semi-final will be played between Diamond Harbour and Mohan Bagan Super Giant tomorrow. Rather, Imam East Bengal. Apologies. That Kolkata derby that Imam East Bengal won. Please don't chastise me. It's a slip of tongue. Muthukanan. Very impressive win in the Kolkata derby by Imami East Bengal, especially the new side with Oscar Bruzon at the helm. Mayakanan trying to feed Jitin on the right. Just couldn't find him. Big season for Jitin as well, Brad. He's almost on the fringes of the Indian selection, gets called sometimes, then sometimes does not. This is the time to showcase and cement his spot there as well. As Sana's foul.
Yeah, certainly a lot. Yeah, certainly a lot of the players who played under Khalid Jamil was at North East United earlier, and he's familiar with them. The coaches we've seen over the years pick players who they're familiar with. Was this lad on the ball? Might be unfamiliar prior to this tournament, but Ever Brightson certainly probably be knocking on the door of another man with a North East connection, Naushad Musa's under 23 side.
Long ball put in through the free kick. It's Ever Brightson that's lurking. Gurmeet showed safe hands. One more player who's had a season of reckoning last time around and impressed between the posts.
Yeah, he showed safe hands, but almost overstepped the mark. As he was coming out, could have given away a needless free kick.
Yeah, luckily, he managed to just pull the brakes right at the end. The ball was just given away when they were trying to look for Aladin Acharya. Already scored a hat-trick, already scored a brace. Whenever he scores in troves. Acharya trying to link up with Rinzwala. It's cut out by Damite. And goes out for a throw.
It's a little bit sloppy from Lajong and playing out from the back. Both Kipok and Damite just panicking a little bit, trying to do a little bit too much.
Jitin. Ooh, good touch. Managed to keep it in play. Wasn't the easiest ball towards him, but then, just as I said that, the exact opposite happens. Figo with a back heel, impressively so, towards Savam. It's another corner.
That's impressive from the Lajong fullback. Save Mitaryang just going on the overlap, trusting that Figo would find him. It's a clever little back heel. See Lajong not going to sit back, not afraid to push numbers forward, because they feel set pieces are something they've had a lot of joy in this tournament. Delivery from Glady, they can capitalize with the likes of Ken Starr and Sheen Suting.
Glady Nelson with the corner. Yeah, and didn't clear the first man. That was the issue last time round at the other end too. Just not getting the desired elevation. It was Ajarius to clear in the third corner. Shillong Lajong. This time much better. Gurmeet punches right back towards him. That was an odd direction to send the ball towards.
Yeah, odd decision indeed. Keeper's got a chance. There was nobody in front of him. Should have been catching that ball. This is where sometimes, maybe the dew as a factor. Sometimes in the warm-up, you don't grip the ball properly a couple of times and you take the easy, safer option.
It went towards Mula, but cleared away by Chema Nunez. Get Bok there, just mopping things up. Lang intercepts before Figo, but then has lost his ground. And now Shillong Lajong. Just a better cross, and perhaps Ever Brightson could have been in. Nunez. Ajare. Jitin had made the run, cut out by Mula. Is that a corner? Nah.
Entertaining first 15 minutes. Got some end-to-end action. I think Lajong probably had the better of the play in the first 15 minutes, and they probably be around the top, but just needing to calm his players down. Some of the decision making in the final third, if they can just work on that, they can really cause this Northeast back four some problems, because this isn't probably the strongest back four for Northeast United. The likes of Radim Telang, who's not really had a full season, former Lajong player, not really a right back. They're trying to transition him into that role, and is an area where Lajong can find some joy.
Foul by Chema Nunez meanwhile on the Maipang. One of the new signings instead of Nesta. That same number 10 position, the Northeast United. Oh, Kenstar with a run through midfield. Did everything right, but just couldn't find his man on the wing in Figo.
Now, we saw a couple of those marauding runs from Kenstar in the opening game against the Malaysian Armed Forces. That's what you want your centre-back when the space opens up. Commit players.
Shot from distance meanwhile. That was Sheen trying to shine. Had Gurmeet worried for a minute.
I think Sheen's enjoying playing in this position a little bit more centrally. Obviously, he played as a striker, likes this role as a second striker, gets himself more central, gets more looks at the goal than when he plays out wide. And I think Birendra Thapa's got him in there both for his work rate off the ball as well as his set piece prowess and his ability from the crosses. So he's going to be crucial, I think, with his experience tonight.
Meanwhile, a free kick given away. And a chance for Shillong Lajong to pile in the numbers in the northeast box. Glady and Prangi Buam at the helm of affairs. Glady will take. Ajare will clear. So far, 2 shots, none on target for Shillong. Brad, only the solitary shot by Northeast United. It feels like, as of right now, Shillong Lajong is the one dictating the pace of the game. Do you think they need to slow it down a bit for themselves, the Highlanders?
I think just the occasion. I think this is where Lajong at times can overcommit, and I think that's might be something that Northeast has spoken about, picking their moments. But I think the pressure that Lajong are putting on Northeast is making it difficult for them to play out from the back. They certainly have got their press right.
When it comes to possession as well, it's the Red Dragons that have the bulk of possession, about 2/3 of it, 66-34, which is quite surprising. Slip through meanwhile towards the on-rushing Ajare, who'd come into that central channel as he does time and again, that you'd pointed out.
Yeah, that's the risk. I think it's just Lajong, the first 5-10 minutes, they were playing a little bit deeper, not giving space in behind for Northeast, just trying to keep the game in front of them with the good shape that they've got in midfield, and with one player dropping in to make sure no one's picking it up in that pocket. But the moment they would get more joy from attack, they seem to commit more players forward, and that space in behind is what Aladdin Ajare loves to exploit.
Oh, the run of Prangi Buam was just cut out by Sapako. Challenge from behind. Ever Brightson. Wonderful turn. And he takes a swipe at goal.
Yeah, lovely turn. Once again, it was a similar kind of turn which won his side the penalty against Navy and got them the go-ahead goal in that game. Let's not forget they were trailing in that game, showed a great result to get back from that position. But once again, lovely little turn from Ever Brightson. This is where just maybe that next stage of his development, just recognizing where he's got low percentage chance of scoring and maybe not taking those shots. Could have taken another touch forward, drive into the box, maybe find a teammate, but he's certainly learning his game, and I think a full season of the I-League playing in that position with no foreign striker to compete against will really help his development.
Meanwhile, Figo. Oh, piggyback right there. They want to take a tour of Shillong.
That's good defending from Ashirakta, just making sure got his body in the way. Didn't need to get into a foot race. Don't need to win the ball. Just need to make sure Figo doesn't get on the end of it. Ashirakta just using all his experience. That's good to see.
Some brotherly love there. Senior of the two, Ashir Akhtar, carrying the burden of Figo's Figo on his shoulders. But it has been an impressive showing so far by Shillong Lajong, there is no doubt about it. As of now, they're the ones that have controlled the possession. They have restricted the likes of Ajaria to not much of a threat. Yes, he's made those runs, but he's not been able to put in a single shot yet. That in itself tells you a lot about how the match is going on. One more goal kick. When it comes to these four teams in the semi-finals, Brad, whose chances do you like in terms of lifting the trophy?
Well, I think
in a way, I must put a prediction here as well.
Yeah, I think even from the start of the tournament, I think East Bengal looked a really well organised unit. I think Oscar Bruzon's a terrific coach, one of the best coaches around in Indian football at the moment, vastly experienced, and I think he's got his side playing the way he wants them playing as opposed to last season. So I think you've got to mark them as definitely one of the favourites. I think Kibu Kunya's put together a very good Diamond Harbour side that are going to be hard to beat in the next stage for them. But, I mean, whoever wins that is surely going to be one of the favourites. But let's not discount either of these two sides. Northeast United, defending champions. You've got, a prolific goal scorer. And in a cup competition, that's what you need. You've got somebody who's going to score you, definitely going to score you a couple of goals in a game or a goal a game. You just need to make sure that one game you keep it tight to the back. And I think why I'd probably pick the likes of Northeast and East Bengal is the bench strength. I think they've got the superior benches compared to the likes of Lajong and Diamond Harbour.
Challenged by Ashir Akhtar, and this could be a yellow card. Ever Brightston with that trademark turn. It's become a trademark turn.
Yeah, it's one of those almost, you could say, coaching terms now. If the Shillong Lajong youth development, you don't need to teach a Cruyff turn, you teach an Everbright turn. Very good with the pressure. Manages to spin the defenders when they get too tight. And now Ashir Akhtar, like Rudraved Mula, is going to be walking a tightrope.
Free kick. From a distance where it could interest the likes of Glady and Guam, but they have the option to just find their teammates too. Glady looks like he's going to be the one taking command. Oh no, it is Guam trying to outfox Gurmeet. Speculative.
Yeah, probably the wrong choice, the wrong technique from that distance. If you're going to try and beat the likes of Gurmeet, there's got to be something with your laces inside the foot, trying to lob the keeper. Maybe just trying to gamble on the fact that Gurmeet's going to come out expecting the ball to be played into the likes of Sheen. But this is where they have to capitalize. You've got to ask questions. Make the defenders clear the ball. Make the goalkeeper have to come and make a save. I think those kind of opportunities are not going to come too often, and Lajong shouldn't be wasting them.
Ajare trying to play through Tima Nunez and Rinzwala, both going for the ball, trying to pick out Andy right at the end, cleared away by Kensta. Mula couldn't keep it in. A corner to the Highlanders.
Yeah, this is where now you see Aladdin Ajari clever, instead of just trying to get on the end of things, trying to drop into midfield to get on the ball and play the role of a creator. And that's causing a few problems for Lajong's defence. People are not passing one another on. They've got to be really, really switched on now to defend this set piece.
Fascinatingly enough, this is the first corner for the Northeast United. It's Andy with it, cleared off the near post, and Shillong Lajong can break in numbers once more. Wonderfully timed that challenge by Chema Nunez. He slips it through to Zabako, who takes it with his left foot. Couldn't find the target.
Again, sloppy from Lajong, and you're trying to come out from the corner. Didn't have the options ahead of him, but don't want to be losing possession coming out from a counter-attack. Fortunately for Lajong, it fell to the centre-back, Zabako. If you're going to be giving up shooting opportunities, that's probably the man you don't mind having a pop from distance.
Yeah, took a bit of the ground as he took the shot as well. Laid down his marker there. But at least Northeast United mounted an attack, because up till now, that has been a spot of bother for Juan Pedro Benali. The only difference being, even though Shillong Lejong have been making chances, they've been taking shots, Gurmeet hasn't been tested yet.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. Shots on target, you've got to ask questions, and we saw one cross where he flapped it and punched it out. So I think they need to just make sure a lot of those crosses, just make the defenders have to deal with it, especially Ashir Akhtar's on a yellow card. Likes of Radim Talang, like I said, still not an established right back.
Ever Brightson flicks it towards Frankie Buam. Towards the far post now, where Tairang was coming in, and Figo was there to yet another chance goes a-begging.
Yeah, this is what we're talking about. This is the kind of delivery that they need. Figo just didn't gamble on the fact that Radim was going to get there, but I think Radim might have got the slightest of touches, and that's what put Figo off, because he was coming in at the back post, went into his midriff. And that's where sometimes you've just got to gamble that the fullback's going to miss it. Get yourself into a position where you're going to get some kind of proper contact to put it back towards a goal. But once again, dangerous attack from Shillong Lajong. Just look at the sheer numbers that they got in that cross. So they're not just sitting back and looking for the likes of Frankie or Ever Brightson to just have a pop. They are committing numbers into their attack.
Brinswala switches play, trying to find Jitin. He couldn't keep it in. Bright idea. The Northeast United being forced to go direct now, Prad. They're not being allowed to play any passes.
Yeah, I think Lajong have got their defensive unit very, very well organized today. We just talked about it. Looks like it's clear line of a 4-1-4-1. So there's somebody there to pick up the ball in between the units. So you have to kind of go long. I mean, but they do have the likes of Jitin with his pace to get on the end of things. The only tricky thing is, as we know, the conditions in Shillong and the 7 p.m. fixtures can get a little bit slippery, the dew on the ground. And so he does skip through. Talking about tough conditions, it looks like Senthil Nathan has picked up a little bit of a muscle knock. I think he's calling for the spray. It's not often we see this, but he might have just tweaked his calf as he's had to sort of put in some sprints from end to end. And he can't continue, then Lalit Singh Rawat will have to step in.
That is a rare sight, isn't it? I wonder if in situations like these, the team physio will be like, I'll be the one who will come and help you. Don't worry, ref. Don't worry.
I'll be calling for a card if I was a coach on the sideline for Senthil Nathan's time wasting. I think the crowd heard me.
Yeah. And that too in exact goalkeeper style. He's laid down on the pitch at the side, right at the touchline.
Yeah, I mean, we shouldn't jest. It is painful. The conditions are tough, and let's not forget the referees have had a lot of traveling to do too. So they've been around the sort of eastern part of the country. Probably just got to Shillong a few days ago and wouldn't have had too much time to acclimatize. And the conditions, it's colder, and sometimes you don't think you need to hydrate as much, but the humidity does have a factor, and soft tissue injuries, consequences of that. Hopefully, the experience, Senthil Nathan will be able to continue. It's not something you can easily just run off, calf strain if he's pulled it. So maybe time for Lalit Singh Rawat to start warming up.
While we may be laughing about this or maybe chuckling and being a little coy, referees really need to run around, Brad. In fact, they are the ones who are covering the lengths of the pitch more often than the players itself.
Yeah, certainly. I think the modern active referees in India now really fit. Um, will
So, Senthil Nathan, meanwhile, as you can see, time is just going on and continuing. Our referee Senthil Nathan is going to be substituted, it seems. An injury substitution for the referee, an unfortunate end to his game. We often say that about players, but today we're saying that about the referee. It's not often you get to see that. But owing to a calf injury, it seems, where he's pulled his calf, Senthil Nathan might just be substituted. Brad, we got the indication from the physio. And Lalit Singh Rawat might be coming in.
Yeah, but unlike the players, I think he'll still have to play play a part. I think if he gets substituted, I think he'll have to take over the role as fourth official. I wonder if he'll get some sympathy from the benches, because normally the fourth is the one receiving a lot of the stick, to put it politely. So Lalit Singh Rawat will have to step into the main position, and there you go. He's getting a little bit of sympathy from Juan Pedro Benali. But he might have to try to stay on his feet and do that role of the fourth official, unless they have a reserve ref as an option who can come in. There's the experienced Sri Krishna, who is our referee assessor. He was one of the best referees back in the day, so I'm sure he could just assist if need be.
The stretchers come out, so they're still wondering as to what they need to do. But before the game begins, they need to figure out who the fourth official is. I wonder if there's a substitution graphic for something like this as well. Senthil Nathan substituted by Lalit Singh Rawat. It's not often you get to see that on a football pitch in football game, but yet it's happened. Obviously, we hope Senthil Nathan gets okay pretty soon. But we are seeing the lighter side of things. As play resumes now, Lalit Singh Rawat comes in and a shot from distance. Right at the start, catch in practice for Sewell.
Yeah, this is where it's going to favour the likes of Northeast. As you can see, getting another shot on target from Andy on the turn, because the momentum was with Lajong.
Almost pickpocketed there. At the double, it was Sewell who cut through the lines eventually, as Ajare was prowling through. And suddenly the Northeast may have had this. Don't forget, Juan Pedro Benali must have had some time to just talk tactics with his team when that pause, because of that pause, and that could change a lot when it comes to the context of this first half.
Yeah, certainly, and it looks like Lajong players just not knowing how to cope with that sort of sudden stoppage that they've had, dropped their standards a little bit, switched off, and allowed Northeast to now get back into the game. And this is where experience can have a little bit of a difference. So Virendra Thakur will have to get his side refocused.
It's Jitin, the keeper's come off his line. Kicked away by Mula. The tables have turned, there is no doubt about it.
Yeah, how often does that happen sometimes in football? Just something that's not related directly in a way to the game just has such a big impact. It's what, we see it sometimes when you have a water break, and this time it was just an unusual break in the referee thing, and the shape of the Lajong defense all over the place. Keeper going out and just selling himself short. Fortunately for him, I think Drubed Mula was in the right place, and the Lajong defenders managed to clear that. But this is where you just need some calm heads. The likes of Kenstar and Sheen Soktung just need to get the remaining of their teammates just to settle down and get back to the way they were playing.
Just need to settle again. Remember, there would be no water breaks today. You are in Shillong after all. The temperature is 19 degrees Celsius. Just means you can continue playing. Although the team did have a break, both teams got about a 5-minute break, courtesy of referee substitution. In all these years, this is the first time since I've been doing commentary, Brad. This is the first time something like this has happened when I've covered a game. So it is one of those few and far between moments. Do you recall any such situation before?
I think I've seen one. I've seen I've watched a lot of football over the years, seen it happen in games, but in terms of commentating, this is the first time I've seen it. It's just made me wonder whether you always see the expression he's gone into the referee's book. I wondered, does he pass his book on now to the other referee?
And I wonder, for such situations, is there a fifth official that's just kept somewhere in the stands, as if an additional just in case, because Senthil Nathan's clearly so uncomfortable right now. For him to perform those fourth official duties, which he may do whenever required, it must be such a task. Meanwhile, Northeast United with possession, and it's a shot from distance! A bullet that sears through Shillong Lajong hearts, and it's a bullet from Redeem Talang's left foot. The former Red Dragon breathes fire, and it's 1-0 to the Highlanders.
Now, we were just talking about that, about how the momentum had gone and the momentum had changed. John just losing possession. Redeem Talang gets himself and showed why he was a promising attacking player on what's his perceived weaker foot. Just unleashes a strike. Keeper's completely wrong for it. I don't know where Sewell was going. Just didn't see the flight of the ball. Caught it late. It's moving the wrong direction. And that's why I was wondering, how could that ball enter in the middle of the goal? He just misjudged the flight of the ball completely. And it's a poor mistake from the goalkeeper. And Redeem Talang not going to celebrate against his old side, but Juan Pedro Benali is a very, very lucky man, because that was a goal out of absolutely nothing. That was a gift from Sewell, and Redeem Talang says Kublai Shibun in Kasi.
Redeem Talang, of course, as you mentioned, made his name here. The Shillong Lajong Langs. Chip towards goal again. It crashes into a crossbar. Samte this time. And suddenly it's all Northeast United.
Yeah, what a strange game from almost nothing. The right back's just scored, and now the left back, with what looks like just a cross, a mishit cross, almost catches Sewell off his line. And this is where Lajong just need to calm down and regroup themselves. Because they go 2-0 down, I think then this is semi-final over.
If you were, let's take you back 5,559 days, Brad, and a situation like this has happened, you're the Shillong Lajong coach at the touchline, you're telling them to calm down, of course, but it's easier said than done. Is this... Pigo. Damait. They're asking for a penalty. Lalit Singh Rawat has to make a decision, and he makes none.
I think that the calm head of the coach should just now be just getting them back to play the way they were playing before that little break, because I think Lajong had their game plan down to a T. They don't need to deviate from that. What they were doing was working, and this is where, once again, getting numbers into the attack. Good defending from Redeem on that occasion. But this is where Lajong play the ball along the ground. That's what their strengths are. Look for the little combination play in the final third. You don't need to panic because you're a goal down. Even 1-0 down at half-time, they got themselves back the last time these two sides met. But it's that moment just immediately after the goal where they conceded. That's what they got to make sure, again, don't make 1-0 into a 2-0.
It's getting a little slippery out there. Players on the floor. Jitin, the last one. Challenge came in from Tairang. He seems okay now. 1-0 courtesy that goal from Redeem Talang not too long ago. Before that break, you can literally divide this half into two halves. And now it's about these young Shillong Lajong. It's about this young Shillong Lajong trying to find that confidence once more. Kensa takes the free kick, just launches it forward, particularly to no one. Goal kick.
Yeah, you can see they're clearly rattled at the moment.
Sabako. Samte. Loses out to Sheen. Seems like Figo has switched flanks with Frankie Buam at this juncture. I wonder why. Given the combination of Frankie Buam on the right with Everbright was working pretty well. Aladdin Ajare wraps his foot around it to try and find Jitin. Could he keep it in? No, he can't. Just that additional dew perhaps making the ball skid away at the last minute. Otherwise, it seemed destined for the right winger. Mula, Kenstar and Glady combining. Tairang trying to find Everbrightson. Ashir Akhtar is already on a yellow card. Lalit Singh Rawat, who has just come on, has a different way of making decisions. Seems like Ashir Akhtar has gotten away with it. It's a free kick once more. It is going to be Glady who will take. Everbrightson trying to keep the ball in play. He's asking for a corner. Shillong Lejong probably would be ruining the fact that they didn't convert those chances early on. With 5 shots, none of them on target. Confirmation there that Ashir got a yellow card. Perhaps he escaped one earlier, and that's why he's got the yellow card now. As far as I remember, he clashed with Everbrightson for a very heavy challenge previously as well.
This is what
got a caution
we were concerned about. That's what Atish was wondering about, whether we thought he was cautioned early on in the game, and referee switched over and communication which players have been. Now that he's been passed on, about the booking.
Towards the left, plenty of players in white. Gerauing Everbrightson Sana, who's run out of ideas for now. It's a throw-in. He's been impressive. He's been bright, has Everbrightson, leading the line. Juan Pedro Benali, of course, gives youth development a chance, and there's a possibility he'd pick up the likes of Everbrightson Sana. And why ever not? Seems to have lots of talent. Meanwhile, Kenstar takes a swipe at goal. Blocked away. Cleared by Samte. And Ajari is running. And he's running hard. Calmly done. So well done at the back there by the captain. Is Jitin. Aladdin back towards Jitin, and this could be a penalty. Nah, Lalit Singh Rawat is unmoved. Jitin on the floor. The replays might be interesting.
Yeah, living dangerously, Lajong. Once again, just as a challenge went in. Looks like it was a little bit of a clumsy challenge from fullback Save Me, but he did get the ball. Fortunately for him, he got a good piece of the ball, which is why the referee was in a good position to spot that. It didn't give the penalty.
Every time you issue in a challenge or a tackle with one leg up, you're in danger already. 6 minutes of added time, most of it.
As well, Lajong have just got to try and absorb a little bit of pressure and just see this through. There's going to be 6 minutes of time added on. Obviously, we had a long stoppage because the referee, Senthilnathan, pulled his calf muscles and had to be substituted. This is where Lajong, if they can try and get something back in this game, as you know, Northeast certainly have been rattled in this first half, but they still lead 1-0 due to a goalkeeping blunder. So we look at Andy just pulling Damait, professional foul, just knowing that they have to stop these fast-paced Lajong attacks. Right, Lajong just need to make sure they don't panic. Still have plenty of time to get back into this game. Just need to continue playing the way they played for the first 30 minutes of this game. That got them really good opportunities. And even if they can go into halftime with 1-0 deficit, I think Birendra Thapa will have a lot of positives to talk about. He can calm his young troops and get something out of the second half. And I think Northeast, certainly you look at the body language now of Juan Pedro Benali on the sidelines, obviously frustrated, not happy with his performance of his side, and knows that they're very, very lucky to be 1-0 ahead in this game. Lajong winning the ball back, just looking to build with Damait. Where the fullbacks have to get forward, pushing into the attack. Figo having switched sides. Damait unfortunately just couldn't control that. Still with Lajong. He managed to get a corner from the shot that the impressive Figo's taken this, where we've seen this from Shillong Lajong in this tournament, the way they in open play they managed to switch sides, and at least now we'll see what Gladdy can deliver.
Yeah, it's Gladdy with the corner. Towards the centre of goal, it's Gurmeet with a good catch this time around. No pressure on him though, and that could be something Birendra Thapa can talk about during halftime. Putting pressure on the goalkeeper, perhaps hoping that he makes a mistake. It's one of those ways that you can just steal a goal away.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw that this weekend with how, you know, it's one of those things I think Arsenal have become very good at over the last couple of years, where you put pressure around and crowd the goalkeeper.
Brightson, he's asking for a penalty. Ashir Akhtar with the challenge. Skillful is ever Brightson. Again, Lalit Singh Rawat. His whistle remains in his hand. Ashir Akhtar is living very dangerously. Ever Brightson's getting the better of him.
That's a game-changing decision, because as he's touched that and taken it past Ashir Akhtar, I don't think there was enough contact. But this is where the referee, if it's a dive, he's got to give a yellow card. It's a clumsy challenge. It's a clumsy swipe from Ashir Akhtar, but I don't think this contact is certainly not sufficient contact for Ever Brightson to go down. And this is where I think the referee, this is where you've got to be strong in those decisions. If it's a dive, give a yellow card, because if not, that is a game-changing decision, because Ashir Akhtar gives away a penalty there and picks up a yellow card. Lajong with an equaliser, and against 10 men, you'd fancy them to get past Northeast United.
Ashir Akhtar seems a bit off the boil today, or is Ever Brightson just got his number?
Yeah, I think a bit of both. I think pace is something that certainly causes Ashir Akhtar problems. On this Lajong side, whichever player you're facing up against, the likes of Figo, Frankie Boam, Ever Brightson, they love to get on the ball and run at defenders. And as defenders, that's one thing you probably hate the most, having to defend against pace and players who are direct running.
Frankie Buam steals the ball from Radim Tilang, and Tilang's given away a free kick in a very dangerous position. This is an opportunity to get their first shot on target, there is no doubt about it.
Yeah, this is exactly what we're talking about. This is what the Lajong players do. When they win the ball, they're very direct. They like to take players on. They need to bring him down in that situation. Possibly he had cover, but it's the stage of the game. Maybe the experience, you just know, just as we're getting close to halftime, you'd rather give away the free kick, get numbers behind the ball, than allow Frankie Baum to get his shot off. Beam obviously knows the likes of Frankie Baum very well, having played the same club. But it makes it a good decision to commit the foul if Lajong don't capitalise from this set piece.
And that's the risk, isn't it? Gladdy on the ball. He'll gladly take this free kick. Gladdy Nelson towards goal. Over goal. And with that, the referee blows the halftime whistle. A tale of two halves in this first half. A tale dominated by a storyline related to a referee. Senthil Nathan got injured. Prior to that, it was all Shillong Lajong, but they didn't test Gurmeet Singh. And the moment the referee was substituted, just after that, Radim Tilang against his former club in the 36th minute fired in a shot central towards goal, slipped through by the goalkeeper. And at halftime, because of that, it is Northeast United 1, Shillong Lajong 0. Brad, plenty of promise showcased by by Shillong Lajong though. They can still come back fighting in the second half.
Yeah, it's a game of two quarters. I mean, the possession looks pretty even at the moment, but at that sort of halfway stage in this half, it was up as high as 63% for Shillong Lajong. They clearly dominated the first 25-30 minutes of the game until the referee's injury, where Northeast had pot shots from distance. As we'll see in the highlights, in terms of asking questions of the goalkeeper, Northeast certainly asked a lot more questions.